Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be doing a video on who is going to be the best team for the new and final limit breaker of 2024. Also, we will be doing, showing off a few characters that you could use to replace any of the best characters. And yeah, let's go quickly over the new rewards for this one. I don't think it's going to be every single limit breaker going forward. I think it's only for this one because it is the end of year. But apparently it's now open to every player rank of 15 above, which is pretty cool. And then also you do not have to have every character as max link slots. Apparently, just like if any new player hops in, you can attempt it. Don't expect to get very far if you don't have T20 characters, by the way. It's still very difficult, but you can at least attempt it. And now they're going to be adding Transcendence points, Spirit Orbs, which we've already gotten before, but now we're getting Link Slot Potions and a 5-star Summon Ticket, which guarantees a 1,000-year Bubbleware character. It's not a selector. I'm like 99% certain it's not a selector. I assume it's going to be any 1,000-year Bubbleware character. I don't know if it's going to be up to the newest characters with like Ichigo, Senjumaru, and Askin. I hope it is. And I also kind of wish they would cut off some characters and just have it like anime-only characters. So it starts at like Concord Ichigo, technically. Like, I think that would be much better. So that way you at least get something like somewhat newer and not like 2015 Uryu. But I imagine every single 1,000-year Bubbleware character is going to be in it. So best of luck if you do get it. But hey, I like this because that means at least you still get a 1,000-year Bubbleware character. Because I know that they only had, like, they had the free like summon, but now they have this. Obviously this is still more of like just a way to get you to play limit breaker quests instead of just getting the free single out of the way. But yeah, I don't mind it that much. I believe I've seen people go in the data mines and say you only have to get to wave 14. That could be off, but that's just speculation. Hopefully it's just that easy, but we'll have to wait and see. But obviously for slot 1, a Quincy Mind Enemy. I wonder who this is going to be for. This is definitely 100% made for the new 1,000-year Bubbleware Fullbring Ichigo. Obviously, every single limit breaker is going to be based off the new character, especially for slot 1. He's also going to be getting Heart Attribute Damage ×2, Melee Damage ×2, and Killer Effect ×2. And then there's also Weakening on the ground that you're going to have to watch out for. And he's immune to every single status element, so that is completely fine. Slot 2, a Hollow Speed Enemy. So this is obviously made for Gremmy. Technique Attribute Damage ×2, Range Damage ×2, and Killer Effect ×2 with Paralysis on the floor. But he's immune to everything, so it doesn't really matter. Then slot 3, a Human Power Enemy with Killer Effect ×2. So basically you just want to bring a human killer, because I don't think there's that many good speed human killers. I mean, technically, you could use Askin, because no, he has Story per killer. I'm wrong. Wrong killer. So I imagine since it's a human killer, probably Soifan or Byakuya. Whichever one you have more dupes in, to be honest, because they're both human killers, so they would both get the killer effect. Neither of them have like the attribute advantage though, so it is what it is. But yeah, those would probably be the top 3 characters for it. But let's just quickly go over the characters that we will be using and some replacements. Alright, so for Ichigo, he's going to be a melee strong attack character. On top of that, all of his strong attacks and his nat string and his soul bomb are going to have the new status summon of Weaken Plus, which makes you do 75% more damage whenever you apply the Weaken Plus status summons. And then his SA2, I completely forgot to bring this up in his Should You Summon video, is going to be a superior strong attack. It has a little bit more cooldown, but it does apparently 20% more base damage, which is wild. His EX move is going to be a huge SP boost of 100% extra. So on top of that, you're going to be just doing massive amounts of damage whenever you proc your SP boost. Ludicrous EX skill, even though it only lasts 10 seconds. Basically, you just pop this whenever you're against those big poison enemies, and you're probably going to like 1 or 2 shot them, even at 1 out of 5. He has Quincy Killer Plus. He has the 40 enemy defeat bonus of Team Party and Strong Attack Recharge of 15%. And then he has the 80 enemy defeat bonus of Special Move +1. Very curious that this stacks with U-Haul, where you can get 3 Soul Bombs. That would be quite insane. He has a base of 14% strong attack recharge, innate skills of Sprinter +2. He has long shot as well, so you don't even have to give him those bonus abilities. Havoc of 20%, an extra melee damage of 20% after you defeat 20 enemies, and then including a defeat enemy bonus, and you get a devastation value of 60% as well. So your Soul Bomb is going to hit incredibly hard. He has the skills of Berserker of 60%, Devastation, increased status summon chance against Quincy's. He has Poise, Marauder, SP boost of 80%, Frenzy +3, Debilitator of 5 seconds, Weaken defense, Poise Break, except break battles, and then complete status immunity. This man is insane. He is going to be proccing status summons probably every single attack. He is weak in defense, so whenever you Soul Bomb, you're going to be doing even more damage to those poised enemies. Like, he's going to be an absolute monster, I assume. He also has a very good strong attack hit. I believe it is a 3k length beam, a 960, and then a full screen SA3. And then his EX skill obviously is like the very small AoE from Kenpachi's EX skill. So yeah, cannot wait to see how he performs in Guild Quest. And Limit Breaker Quest, obviously. But yeah, let's get to who you could potentially replace him with. Alright, so this is every single Quincy melee heart character to get the absolute best. And to be honest, I mean, Noitora might be decent. Like, he does have an increased status summon chance against minor attribute enemies. He does have a Berserker of 40%. He's fully immune. He has Frenzy 2, increased status summon chance. Damage to last hit enemies is 60% and an SP boost. Honestly, I don't think he'd be that bad, and he has lacerate, so you can just like keep constantly proccing, and then just keep running away and hoping the damage over time kills them. I think it'd be decent, like if you don't have anybody else. But who could you use if you just take out the attributes? Because then you're only losing one of the buffs. It opens it up a little bit, probably like 3 characters you could potentially use. So like another character would definitely be Ishin. Granted, he is not going to have the increased status summon chance because he only has that against heart enemies, while these enemies are going to be mined. But he has lacerate and burn on all of his strong attacks. He's immune to weakening as well, so that's going to be very nice. He has Havoc, Berserker of 50%. He has Rampage as well, so you're going to build up your damage immensely. Frenzy 2, so he still has a good, decent chance of proccing. He has weakened defense on his Soul Bomb. He has Poise, and then the SP boost of 120%. So if you proc your SP boost, you're going to be doing significantly more damage. I would probably give him like full stamina damage and then more damage to lacerate. That way you just, whenever you proc, you're just going to be doing insane amounts of damage. Because he's probably going to need the boost to damage instead of like long stride, just so that he can like keep up doing all that damage. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. But he still should be like probably like the second or third best option. Yet again, another option you could use is potentially going to be Ichibei. I do think you're gonna need dupes on him though. I just don't see a 1-5 Ichibei doing that great. Like his gauge is amazing, like Berserker 100% and then an extra Frenzy. But without his gauge, he's very mediocre. He also is not gonna have immunity to this, so you're gonna have to watch out. And he only procs his SP boost on his gauge. And if you don't have gauge active, you have Frenzy 1. And a 50% Berserker, and that's literally it. Like, it's very underwhelming, I can't lie. Like, I honestly don't think I would recommend it. I honestly think Yamamoto would just be way better. Also, I guess maybe Lisa. I remember Lisa was a pretty decent option in a few limit breakers if you just really need to. Yeah, like Yamamoto still has a very, very amazing strong attack hit at 3k length beam into homing vortex, or just explosion into a homing vortex, full screen, SA3. You know, he has a Berserker of 40%. He has complete status immunity. Only a Frenzy 1, which is like his biggest downside. He just is mainly meant for nuking. He has Bombardment, damage to burning enemies and weakened enemies of 40%, weakened defense, and then an SP boost of 80%. So he could be decent, but it's probably going to be a bit rough. As for this, we can go Quincy and then melee characters. Or no, Quincy and then heart characters. Just take off the melee. It did not change at all. So let's try Quincy melee characters, just in general. To be honest, you could use True Shikai Ichigo. He's just not going to be getting the killer effect ×2. But it's not like you get like damage times 2. It's just the killer effect, so it's not as big. You know, he has Soul Trait Berserker of 20% and Recharge. He has Weakening and Last Strike on all of his strong attacks. The Charge SA3 as well, which is very, very good. Complete Status Immunity. He has Frenzy 2. Increased Status Element chance against them. Damage to lacerated enemies and weakened enemies of 40 and 60%. SP boost of 80% as well. So, I mean, he should do pretty fine, especially because he has Lacerate, so you do have some damage over time over there. And a very, very good strong attack kit and mobility. So, I mean, he should do quite well. And then, to be honest, like the only other character I'm seeing, unless maybe you want to try Gummy, but he's a GQ bot, so I would not really recommend it, would maybe be Killgate or Bruno. Killgate, I will say, I can't lie, I'm not the biggest fan of it this moment. Like, maybe he can cook, you know, because he is a Quincy. So if you're using Grammy in slot 2, you will be increasing his damage whenever he procs status ailments. So that could be a pretty fire combo. But you are going to have to watch out for the weakening pools on the ground. But he does have Heart Attribute Strong Attack Recharge of 20%. So if you use Byakuya in slot 3, you would be getting the recharge for him. That would be pretty good for him. He has 20% full stamina damage. He has Devastation. He has Rampage as well, an excellent ability, especially for him at being like such an older character. Oldish, I guess. He has Frenzy 2, damage to drain enemies of 40%, and an SP boost of 80%. Also a very, very good strong attack kit. I believe it's the 3K Link Beam, Explosion into Vortex, and then an SA3 full screen. So a very, very, very good character to use. But then again, he will be missing one of the rules, so with Limit Breaker, it might not feel that great. As for Bruno, he is a gauge character, so it's not that fun, to be honest, especially if you don't have all the rules. I think if you have all the rules, he's going to be an excellent character, but since he's missing one of them, you're probably going to need some dupes. His gauge is a Berserker value of 100% bonus, but then he got the decreased damage taken, which kind of sucks. He has Weakening on all of his strong attacks. He has Sprinter and Long Stride, so he's going to be very, very fast. He does have the gauge recharge, so whenever you proc your gauge, you get strong attacks back 30% faster. You also gain a little bit of healing, so if you took damage, you could get that back. SP boost at 50%, but it's on the gauge, which is annoying. He has a Berserker of 40%, complete status immunity, and Frenzy 2. So, like, he's decent. He's just kind of like a better Ichibe, to be honest. So, I mean, I guess before the gauge, but after the gauge, I feel like Ichibe is better. But yeah, like they're almost like the exact same character, to be honest. But at least he's fully immune. But yeah, that would probably be about it for this, to be honest. Unless maybe you go Heart Quincy ranged. Did that change? Nope, that is even awful. So yeah, that's pretty much it about for slot 1. Let's go to slot 2. Alright, so we have range technique killers, range hollow technique killers, and mainly it's going to be Gremmy. He's just one of the best characters in the game. Possibly still number 1 after Ichigo, but we'll have to wait and see how Ichigo does. But either way, Soul Trait of 20% strong attack damage with Recharge, Hollow Killer Plus as well. He has Paralysis and Drain on all of his strong attacks, including his EX, which is a 30% boost and debuff, which is insane. Just like Senjumaru, she has the exact same EX now. And then he has Sprinter plus 1, Havoc of 20%, a Berserker of 70%, complete status immunity, Team Party increased Quincy strong attack damage of 20%. He has Frenzy plus 3, Bombardment of 1, increased status summon chance against Hollows. He has Ailment Reversal, which is pretty, it's okay, I guess. Team Party increased Quincy damage to status ailment affected enemies of 30%, weakened defense, and an SP boost of 80%. He is an absolute monster. Plus, he has a 3K Link Beam into a Beam into Vortex and an SA3. Like, he's broken. He's very, very broken. So can't wait to see how he does on this. I assume he's going to absolutely shred through it, even at 1 out of 5. Like, he's just a force to be reckoned with. And then literally the only other usable character, because Roka's garbage, is Quincy Ichigo. You know, he should be fine. He does have killer. He has range damage as well. He has weakening and drain. So if you take a little bit of damage, you can fully heal. He has a full stamina boost of 20%. Technique or Team Party technique attribute strong attack recharge of 20%. He has a bruiser of 20%. Berserker of 40%. Frenzy of 2, increased chance against speed attribute enemies, Team Party increased technique attribute, character strong attack damage of 20%, and an SP boost of 80%. I just hate a strong attack kit. It's an 18% shave into an SA2 beam into a full screen. Like, it's just not that great. I like his SA3 though. But yeah, it kind of depends on the map though. Like if it's just like a straight alley, I think he should be fine. But if it's like a big open map, that SA2 and SA1 combo is just abysmal to play with. Alright, so I went ahead and took off the technique damage times 2. And so what you can also end up using for any just ranged hollow killer could be Ruruka. She should be a pretty good option. She doesn't have an increased out of 7 chance or anything, but she has damage inflicted at full stamina of 30%. She has drain, enemy defeated bonus for an extra 20% berserker, 20% full stamina as well, and then the increased strong attack damage of 20% for your entire team. She has team party stamina recovery, Siphoner for every 5 seconds, berserker of 40%, an extra 10% full no, that's just her link, never mind. She does have fire resistance, but the floor is paralysis, so watch out for that. Frenzy of 2, weakened defense, and then the SP boost of 8%. She's going to be a bit inconsistent, but I think she should be fine. She should do enough damage, but you will have to watch out. You know, it's going to be a bit iffy for you, but it should be doable. And then we have characters like Nini and 8th Anniversary Ichigo and Speed Renewed Okiura. Like, they're good, but I definitely wouldn't recommend them. Like, they're just not all that. Like, they're fine. Like, they're usable, but yeah, they're just okay. They're okay. So just any range technique characters that we could potentially use, so that way all you're missing out on is the killer effect times 2. Giselle is going to be an absolutely phenomenal character. I will say though, Giselle is not going to have the increased Theta Summit chance, so keep that in mind. She just doesn't do increased damage against her, or she doesn't have killer against hollows. She does have dominate, so you know that's pretty decent if you inflict status summons. A bruiser of 40%. She has havoc, strong berserker of 60%, frenzy of 2, debilitator plus 1. Did I say debilitator plus 1? What? Bombardment plus 1, debilitator of 7 seconds. Does not matter. Increased technique character, damage to status element affected enemies of 30%, a damage to dominated enemies plus 100%, weakened defense, and then an SP boost of 80%. Also, she has a very good strong attack kit, so she should be quite fine if you have her. And then next up would probably be Shinji. I don't really see anyone else that we have already went over. Yeah, probably just Shinji. I guess also Tech Aizen, but I don't know about that. He doesn't have that many rules going for him. I mean, I guess he has some. So, I mean, you could use Aizen. You could use him. He's just a NAD unit. You gotta... A lot of RNG, though. A lot of RNG. You just gotta keep proccing those status summons, so that way you can get that attack boost. But, Shinji, he has the 40% soul trait. Unfortunately, he's a squad 0 killer, so he's not gonna have killer here. He has weakening and confusion, which is a pretty fun combo. You're gonna have to watch out for the paralysis on the ground, because he only has freeze immunity. He has a berserker value of 50% and a bruiser value of 50%. Devastation of 70, Frenzy plus 2, Debilitator of 5 seconds, damage to confused enemies of 60%, weakened defense, and an SP boost of 120% in total, including the soul trait. So he should be fine, but gonna have to wait and see how he performs. I think he'll be fine. Alright, and now I have just technique hollow killers, and I'm not gonna lie, there's realistically no one, like maybe like Tech Yachiru, but I just don't see her doing that much. It's whatever. I think she's okay, but she's definitely power crept, especially for this game mode. Maybe you can use her at max transcendence. Let me know about how she performs, but I don't know. I guess that's pretty much it for slot 2, to be honest. Let me know down below if I missed anyone essential. I probably did. I'm very tired, so yeah, let's go to slot 3. Alright, so if you could, you would probably want a speed human killer, but there's basically no one that's actually good. These two characters are a great battle character and a side in Guild Quest, so let's go ahead and take the speed attribute off and just go for human killer. And then it opens up a little bit, and the two that stand out to me would be the Byakuya. Byakuya is absolutely insane. One of the best heart characters in the entire game. He's going to have the Human Killer Plus ability, a recharge of 14%. He's going to have a pretty good EX skill. He has a barrier, paralysis, and weakening as well on all of his strong attacks, including his Soul Bomb. He has a Sprinter of 2. He has Havoc. Full stamina only, increased strong attack damage of 40%. He has a Berserker value of 60%. Complete status immunity, Frenzy of 2. Bombardment plus 1, Debilitator of 5. Increased status on a chance against humans. Team Party, increased sword per damage to status and unaffected enemies of 30%. He has weakened defense, Poise Break, Sharpshooter, and an SP boost of 80%. He is going to be an absolute monster to use. He has a SA1 beam into a 960 into a full screen. Very, very broken character. Very, very fun. Probably my favorite heart unit to use at the moment until probably Ichigo drops, then I assume he will be. But yeah, definitely a very, very solid character. And then this is probably going to be the second best or first best, depending on how many dupes you have. Because yet again, it's another human killer, and the only buff for this is just having the killer effect. So she has another strong attack recharge time of 14%. EX skill is just like a big beam, basically. You just dash across the entire map. She has paralysis and weakening on all of her strong attacks except for her SA2. But she will have the enemy defeated bonus where you get some stamina recovery, full stamina damage after 40 enemies killed, and then the Team Party strong attack recharge of 20%, which is going to be absolutely amazing, especially if you don't have Ichigo, because I assume this does not stack. So that way you can get that recharge for your entire team, which is so good, and you get some stamina, so you can keep your full stam. Innate skills is Sprinter plus 2, Long Stride, full stamina only, reduced strong attack cooldown of 6%, a Berserker of 60%, Devastation of 60%, full stamina of 20%. She has paralysis resistance, so you will have to watch out for the poison on the ground, so keep out for that. She has Havoc, Frenzy of 2, Debilitator of 5 seconds, increased status summon chance against humans, which is amazing, Enhancer, and Booster, so that way you get the 43% attack, focus, and defense since you have both of these two skills. And then she has an SP boost of 80%. I do note she does not have Guard Break, so I think she should be fine because it's Limit Breaker quest, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they don't have Guard. I don't believe they do, but I could be wrong in this. Hopefully they don't. But yeah, that is pretty much it for slot 3, because you just don't really have anyone in the slot unless you just bring a big damage dealer, because you don't need the killer effect times 2 realistically. You could just bring anyone that is really, really strong. If I look at characters that aren't restricted, Byakuya isn't restricted, Owetsu isn't restricted, and they are power enemies, so why not? Tosh, Kenpachi, you get Mugetsu, just bring a strong, powerful character if you just do not have those two that I mentioned, Byakuya or Soifon, and you should be fine. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this Limit Breaker quest. Let me know down below what you guys are going to end up using. I will probably be using Ichigo, Gremmy, and Byakuya, just because I think those are my 3 favorites. And I assume I will have Ichigo at least 2-5. That's mainly what I'm going to be going for on this banner. But yeah, take care, peace out, and hopefully you guys have an absolutely amazing day. Peace.